One of the long-standing truths amongst comics fans, editors, is that the sales and performance of something outside comics, interest outside comics, doesn't generate to the purchases of books themselves. And Tom Brevoort, the head honcho editor at Marvel Comics, said as much very, very recently on his Substack when he was asked about how he felt Marvel Rivals' success could, if at all, impact Marvel's publishing line. And we know that by and large, Marvel will do certain things here or there in relationship to multimedia. So we've got the TVA comic only because of the TVA, its existence in the Loki show, for example. But here was the question that Tom was asked. Is there anything we can anticipate for Cloak and Dagger in the next year? Feels like they've never been more popular than they are right now, thanks to Marvel Rivals, and I'd just love to see them at the very least have more team-up appearances in major books. This was what Tom said in response. I tell you, Joe, I tend to think that popularity in Marvel Rivals likely has more to do with play mechanics than it does the characters themselves, which is to say that I haven't seen any major correlation between popularity in the game and a rise of interest in the character in print, outside of maybe one or two outliers. He does go on to say that there are plans for Cloak and Dagger in the future, which we now know are the comic book that's coming out, a part of the Age of Revelation series, the Cloak or Dagger book. So that's all well and good. But Tom Brevoort is wrong in his assessment of how Marvel Rivals is affecting the sales of comics because this month, according to ICV2, we have a report on the June sales of comics that slate its Jeff the Landshark #1 at number 19th in sales.
Look at what's right below it, Sean.
Right below its Jeff the Landshark, speaking of synergy, is New Avengers #1, which is a publishing gimmick that Marvel pulled based on the Thunderbolt / New Avengers movie that released the same or the month before.
Your cute little shark that is in a one of the most played games currently. It's a live service game, so that thing will keep steady for it. It's #2 in Twitch if you try to browse by channel, so it's big. Is outselling a book that is a kind of tie-in to your most recent Marvel movie, and has Avengers in the title, and it's a #1. That should have been top 10. Not only is it not top 10, it is below Jeff the Landshark, which I think is maybe shows some issues that Marvel has in terms of sales of their books, but also shows the importance that something as recognizable as Jeff is. And also, like, Tom's just strong across the board with this. If this wasn't the case, then Marvel would not be doing all these Marvel Rivals variants for the past 6 months. You know, if that didn't matter, why did Magic come out and hit like crazy back in what was it, January or something like that? Like Magic was outselling Avengers as well, and it coincided with her real kind of breakout in Marvel Rivals. That was kind of an unknown character for a lot of people. And oh shit, Hot Girl with Sword is popular apparently. Who would have thunk it? And I think that it's also wrong because they just put out a book that had a direct tie into Marvel Rivals with the swimsuit special. So I don't know how he can be saying that when they're actively putting out books that tie directly into the game. Like that Marvel swimsuit special showed skins for the game that came out last week that are coming into the game this week. That is about as quick as a turnover as you could possibly do between these two mediums. So they are doing that. But I don't know what he's talking about then.
He did say one or two characters. He said that there would be a crossover, and I'm interested in like a meta analysis for this. Did we see an X-Men bump? Did we see an Avengers bump? Did we see a Marvels bump? I think the point is valid for Magic. It's valid for Jeff. Maybe it's valid for, actually no, Gene's not in it, right?
Gene just came last week. Yeah.
Okay. But prior to that, like, is the impact palpable across Marvel? I think that's where I might push back.
See, my thing is this. You could come up with any excuse in the world for why it worked with Magic. Oh, she's a character that's hot. People like her, whatever. She was in that movie that two people saw. You could make that argument. You could say, oh, well, Psylocke, she's a hot ninja with swords. You can make excuses for whoever. Jeff the Land Shark is a new character. And he doesn't have all these years worth of built-in character knowledge on people's behalf. Is Jeff an extremely popular healer in the game? Yes. Is he very good? Yes. But does that automatically mean the sales of his book are going to be there? Hell no.
Here's the thing: Jeff wasn't even good until a couple of weeks ago. like Brevoort's also wrong in the fact that he thinks that game mechanics are what makes this good. Like Jeff was not meta in terms of
Wasn't Jeff meta when the game came out?
I thought,
in
yeah,
terms of
Yeah.
ease of access, yes, but it quickly turned into, oh, his healing output's not there. The meta ones became like early on it was like Luna Snow and stuff like that. But people are only using him now because he can do damage now with his primary fire. Sorry, I play a lot of this game. But like if that was the case, like if game mechanics are what mattered and what people liked playing as, then like people would only play the meta characters in the game too. Like I don't know. That just seems like something from somebody who doesn't play games would say.
Yeah, whether Jeff is good or not, I mean,
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that the character is going to have popularity that
yeah,
escapes the game.
yeah. Cloak and Dagger was trash when that game launched. It wasn't until patches and stuff that made them viable, which is irrelevant. Like the patch cycle and the viability of the game mechanics of the characters is irrelevant to the popularity of the character.
It's a very tone deaf statement, and I like Tom Brevoort, and I always feel like I have to say that. I have no interest in bashing the guy. I just think that if this is sort of the way that Marvel, if he's speaking, and this is his Substack, he's speaking for himself. But if this in any way represents Marvel's thought process, then that's a problem. Because whether or not there is this massive crossover potential, you should have new readers, the potential of new readers in your mind all the time. So if there is, even if there are more Google searches for Jeff the Land Shark, that should be something that you're looking at and saying, okay, let's test the water and let's put out a Jeff book, which they did. And
Yeah,
then it's sold. So then you should say, well, then we should do more Jeff.
I think that's the bigger concern is the lack of willingness to try out and test the connectivity of both. If there is some level uh, of boost or lift from either end, like set it up so that way you can see whether that's true or not. I think there is a very very much like a blatant just uh, we've learned this in the past and things are the same, and so therefore the Marvel's the same, the media environment of Marvel awareness is the same, and the media environment of video games is the same. I think there wasn't a taking a step back to be like, let's actually give it a shot. But I'm to that glad that they are dropping at the very least those variants. They are being a bit more inclusive with some of the visuals that you get. Tyler mentioned the back of uh, the swimsuit special. Like there is some level of crossover that hopefully means there's more learnings for things down the line for this kind of thing, and for Marvel Rivals in particular.
and I can't imagine releasing a new Emma Frost comic the same within a week of her being released to the game is coincidence. Maybe it is,
Hmm.
but like, there's got to be some thought process behind this. It would be dumb for them not to at least try for it. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a golden goose. They should at least try to get some eggs from. And if they're just like, well, it's doing its own thing, we're gonna do our own thing. Maybe they'll cross over, and we'll have some serendipitous moments in publishing. Good for us. That just seems like poor marketing. Like this is SEO at this point. Like capitalize on it.
Do you think now what they need to do is do more, push more
I get,
beyond just the like here's art?
I think that. Oh, I think so. Yeah, yeah. If Luna Snow's a real popular character. I don't think she's ever had her own solo Marvel book. She's been in
Who?
Exactly. Yeah, Luna Snow. She was I believe Chinese or Korean manga creation for webcomics that then was in Marvel Universe. She's got ice powers and is a K-pop star. Like, um, that could work. And if Marvel decides to put out a miniseries with her, I'm sure it'll be on this top 50 list for sure, even if it's just the number one. But I think they need to start experimenting with that. And I've listened to interviews with some of the team at Marvel Rivals where they've been given the okay to pick and choose the characters they want for it to come out whenever. And there has been some data mining that shows they have some potentially really random, obscure characters that they're working on. Um, so if they have if you know they're working on these characters, maybe I don't know, preemptively have plans for them. Like I think Paste Pot Pete was in the files as a character, also known as the Trapster, a D-list Spider-Man character, which sounds like something that would work gameplay wise. You know what I mean? Like it's all glue and traps. But maybe if that becomes a meme character that's going to have fan art and memes out there, throw him in Spider-Man for an arc.
Well, to your point on like even the SEO front, right? A quick Google Luna Snow Marvel Comics, one, two, third link is Reddit from 4 months ago. Is there any Luna Snow
Yep.
comics are Marvel comics, right? Like that is awareness, functionality, and the title says it all. But the description is obviously found her through Rivals, right? Like to your point.
I think that we often lambast whenever, and I think Marvel tries this a lot more than DC does. Whenever they do like a TVA comic to tie into the show, and different things like that, and I despise that kind of thing. When it comes to something like Marvel Rivals, though, I see that as a bit different. And I like some of the tie-ins that they've been doing with Marvel Rivals, where they've done cool artwork, they've done cool variant covers and stuff like that. But it's a different world. So if you're gonna do a comic book that's a Marvel Rivals comic, which they did, I have no issue with that at all, because it's its own thing. And it could be a good comic, and it could function for I didn't buy it, but it can function for me as just that. But it could also be something that somebody who doesn't read comics but loves that game can pick up and say, "Oh shoot, this is fucking cool! I didn't know they made comics based on this. I love this."
Marvel Rivals Ignite came out in June, and that was number 46 in the top 50. So it hit the top 50. And it also was essentially a catalog for the skins that people can then buy in the game. You are then feeding yourself there by advertising these skins in a comic. For that made me want to get the Punisher skin in the game, reading that comic, because it was cool. There's a lot of like symbiotic things here they can jump on that I don't think they're fully, and according to Tom Brevoort, they're not fully capitalizing on.
And I mean, if you're curious about the relevance, just before we close out, of Jeff doing number 19 in sales, hear this. Number 23 was X-Men 17.
Wow.
New History of the DC Universe was 24. That was
Oh,
a massive release.
holy shit.
Aliens versus Avengers was number 27. That's a Hickman book. Jeff outsold Hickman.
Quote it.
I think that if I'm Tom Brevoort, I'm eating my hat. His Tom,
He does have one. Yeah.
He does.
his Substack's called The Man with the Hat. I'm
Yep.
eating my hat if I'm him. Let us know what you think about this in the comments. Do you think that Marvel and DC, quite frankly, should be chasing the success of these characters outside of the comics to try to see if they can bring some of that buzz into the comics? What are some successful examples of that? And what ideas do you have that you think they should be implementing? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.